breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where Trump is doing amazing things over in America after the assault on the National Guardsman and the assassination of another by an Afghani. He has banned an entire list of countries from coming into the United States of America and stopped citizenship ceremonies for many others. He says you have to earn the right to call yourself an American. The list is obviously Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Congo, Eritrea, Haiti, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. Funny thing, if you stop the Somalis coming in, that's going to empty out downtown Minneapolis pretty quickly. No bad thing either. These are the very kinds of people the Democrats import in huge numbers, keep them poor, keep them dependent on the state, so they keep voting Democrat. It's the same model that is used in the UK by Labour. Import the diversity massive, keep them dependent on the state, give them loads of benefits, and they'll support Labour forever and ever. It's votes that politicians care about, not entire countries. In other news, Holly Willoughby in trouble yet again. This time she was driving along in her sad little car and she twatted a moped driver off of their moped and broke their neck, and I think also a toe, both ends of the body somehow. Either which way, the next day she was on Instagram going, buy my perfume, Holly Willoughby's perfume. You too can smell like my flange, and it will help with your broken neck as well. That's sensitivity right there, Holly Willoughby. Well done, darling. And finally, David Lammy says that he's going to do away with juries. I mean, honestly, David Lammy in a judge's wig reminds me of my dog when I put a little hat on her. It just doesn't look somehow quite right. But I have to say this, and it's not being talked about anywhere else. The demographics of the UK in about 5-10 years' time, there won't be British law. It will be a law based entirely on religion. And facing a jury made up of people who think justice is based on religion doesn't exactly fill me with a great sense of hope. That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain. Stick around if you want to hear about our Leicester venue for 2026. I like to check the toilets because, you know, girls, we like to have a nice bathroom. These are lovely. This is the Athena in Leicester. Not only are the bathrooms lovely, and they have lovely red seats, there's also this terrific mirror. Look, a full-length mirror with a surround light. So you'll be able to see yourself beautifully at half time, and everything is beautifully warm and beautifully clean. So if you're wondering about the way we put on a show here at Team Katie, we check.
Katie Hopkins' monologue is a textbook example of how she builds political spectacle by blending outrage, cultural anxiety, and entertainment into a single narrative. From the opening line, she frames the UK as a place in chaos, batshit bonkers Britain, a rhetorical device that positions her as the lone truth teller in a nation supposedly losing control. Her reference to Donald Trump's immigration actions serves less as policy commentary and more as a contrast. America, in her framing, is taking decisive action, while Britain is failing to do the same. Throughout the segment, Hopkins uses selective anecdotes and emotionally charged language to amplify fears about immigration, demographic change, and political manipulation, presenting complex issues as intentional schemes by political parties rather than the result of broader social and economic forces. What's striking is how she mixes serious political topics with tabloid-esque storytelling. The discussion of Holly Willoughby shifts the tone dramatically, from geopolitics to pop culture mockery. Yet this pivot is intentional. Hopkins thrives on rapid tonal changes, using humor, insult, and shock to maintain engagement while reinforcing her belief that British elites, whether politicians or celebrities, are incompetent or hypocritical. This blending of outrage and entertainment is a hallmark of her style. Everything becomes part of a single collapsing cultural landscape. Her comments about David Lammy and the future of British law escalate the narrative further, invoking demographic shifts and religious influence as existential threats. This is a classic populist tactic. Appeal to fears of identity loss, suggest institutions are eroding, and imply that only outspoken commentators like herself are willing to acknowledge what's coming. Whether one agrees or disagrees with her, Hopkins is deliberately positioning herself as a cultural alarm bell. Ultimately, this monologue is less about specific facts and more about atmosphere. Painting Britain as a nation adrift, overwhelmed by political corruption, demographic change, celebrity hypocrisy, and bureaucratic decay. The message is clear. Everything is connected, everything is deteriorating, and only by seeing through the madness, as she frames it, can people reclaim clarity. It's a high-voltage blend of commentary, performance, and provocation, designed to get attention and keep it.
It's completely fake news. It is made up. It is another smear in amongst, we've had smear after smear after smear campaign going for reform from all parts of the media, actually. And look, it's clearly done with a singular reason, because what they're trying to do is tell this story that there is a path to salvation and resuscitation for the Conservative Party. And actually, if you look at all of the MRPs that have come out, the latest one, I think, had the Tories on some 17 seats, which, as far as Nigel and I and everyone else at Reform, is probably 17 too many. As of May the 1st, the Tory party, we believe, will cease to be a national political party. You don't need to really speculate too much on that. We should look where they polled in Caerphilly. Remember that Caerphilly by-election? They polled at 2%. That is where they are currently. In Wales, they are not even on the map. In Scotland, they're going to lose a huge number of council seats across England as well. In May, they'll cease to be a going concern, I think, certainly nationally as a political party. We're hearing they're struggling to even accumulate enough candidates to fill a slate. And look, why would that not be the case? One of the reasons why Reform has risen is because the Tory party betrayed the country. They betrayed the country. They threw open Britain's borders. They promised in 4 consecutive manifestos to bring net immigration down to the tens of thousands. Instead, shipped in 5 million net new people, left the country with fewer hospital beds, a few hundred more prison places. They let wokery run through our institutions. And on the economy, remember, they were the ones who blew up people's mortgages. They were the ones who tripled the national debt and took taxes on people to the highest level since World War II. They betrayed every principle they were elected to uphold. There is no chance Reform would do a deal. And again, it is why is the Financial Times and this particular journalist, who universally and exclusively publishes hit pieces and negative stories on Reform, and why are the source of these claims, of course, Tory donors? Well, I think you can draw your own conclusions.